All right, it is week 3 classwork that's being recorded at the end of week 1 of the semester. And in my opinion, we've gotten off to a great start. Most of you have completed week 1 classwork. Seems to be very few people that had issue, but the good news is hopefully you feel you've gotten a good start, and by now you've already completed week 2 items as well, and we're into the My IT lab. So it's hard for me to kind of know what's going to happen in the future. There may be some shakeout with the My IT lab issues, but that's why it's important to keep in contact with the class. At this point in the semester, I'm really happy to report I have the highest participation in class chat that I've ever had at the first week. So I think the last I looked, there's around 49 students already in there. So that is really great because oftentimes I've noticed, and you've heard me say this, that students work at a different time than I do. Some of you have have figured out at the good times to email me, but if it's after about 7 o'clock in the evening, I'm probably not around. That's why it's also a benefit to working ahead, which I also see a good size of number of students doing so. So awesome. I'm really excited for the beginning of this semester. I hope you are as well. A couple things. I'm going to go over the work for week 3 classwork, and you should already be taking notes. So if you're not already, open your classwork doc. This is week 3. You'll see in a moment. I'm going to show you the layout. If you don't remember, week 3 heading 1, and this is from Rio heading 2. Okay. A couple things on the My IT lab. If you have not if you've gotten started, did a trial account, make sure you convert that before the deadline for acquiring the materials. And let's see who remembers, because I noticed several people on the week 1 classwork had given September 2nd, and I'm going to check it here in a minute, but I thought it was the 17th. So it's in the syllabus. So the good news is that's why it's great to have the syllabus handy, is that, if there's ever a question, that's where it's listed. But regardless, that date is coming at us by this point in the semester. You need to make sure you've acquired the materials, you've acquired it in the correct way. I did have a couple students acquire it in not the correct way and not get it the way I suggested. So just make sure you're following along with that. So the other thing is, it is Friday, and on Fridays I actually work from home. I've been up this morning grading, which I suspect you've already seen. I'm creating content, which you are now experiencing. So even though I'm not on campus, I'm working. What that means is that emailing or chatting, I work pretty much from 6 until around the afternoon, depending on how much content that I have to create for that week. Okay, so what we're going to do now is roll in, take a look at the work that you need to do, and I think that's it. Let's just take a look. All right, so one thing I did add, so this is good to remember if you haven't already checked this out. If you're feeling a need to have some additional support, I highly recommend you check out the Tutor Hours. So we have 2 very good tutors for this class. They gave me a link into here so that you can see their emails and then their schedules when they're going to be available. Let's see, in the Tutor Center. So it looks like they're going to be located in the Tutor Center Monday and Wednesday 9 to 2. And here's their emails and then a phone number. Okay, I think that's where they are at. All right, so Daniel and Jessica. So we have some, again, great tutors. Reach out to them. And do know, right, so the process is, if you're running into issues, right, you need some additional support. My office hours, which let's go ahead and take a look at the syllabus. If you haven't done this, there's a link to my calendar, and you can see when those office hours are. Right, I am on campus later on Tuesday, Thursday. My classes start at 4, and I'm there till 5:50. Right, but on Monday and Wednesday, my office hour is noon, and then this is the virtual one that I was talking about. But let's go back and look at that date real quick when you needed to acquire the book by September 17th. Okay, make sure again if you've done those trial accounts, you convert those over and make sure you've done that. Okay, so let's go back here, just FYI. Now we're into our week 3 classwork, right? So this is the beginning of a new item in our class that I've given you the preview for, which is Codecademy. And the write-up here is very good to read. And then I tell you my general process. You have to set up an account this week. I want you to put a profile picture on that system. But here's the key is I've provided a video for you for how to do, just generally how to complete this work. Okay, so now what I will do, and this should feel fairly familiar to you, is I will have you take notes in your classwork. So let's just go ahead and jump in here and take a look at this real quick. So the first thing you're going to do, which is again standard, so let's just go ahead and look and I'll come back, is we have our week 3, right? And then the video you're watching now is from Rio. So you could, I see some of you doing bullet points from here. I would want to see, again, the major topics. You know, it doesn't have to be full sentences. Some people like that. Some people like bullet points. Okay, and then when you finish that, again, this is a heading 2. Then you'll do the Codecademy video that I showed you is listed down below. And then I'm going to show you a video you'll watch here. And then the last 2 videos you're going to watch and do reflection. So on the first 3, these are just strictly covering the concepts for taking notes on the concepts, but on the last 2 you're actually going to watch and then do a reflection. So I want you to think about the information presented and give me your reflection on that. And you'll always hear the question, how much writing? At least a full paragraph on each of these. Okay, so now let's actually go look at what those are, right? So here's, I've already mentioned the Codecademy one. I showed you where that was at, right? It's the next item listed in here, so you'll watch that. And then on this video, he talks about, and then you only have to watch, and this is key, the first 5 minutes, okay, of this particular video. And it really talks about the idea of a new literacy in our world, because coding is really fundamentally changing our world because of the technology. Websites, imagine the impact on our world of the amount of change we see because we have this immediate access to information. Well, that information is being created through coding. So what I love about what he says here is that there's 2 reasons to learn code. Right? So again, you should be taking a few notes here. One is that it really does fundamentally help you understand the way our world works. And 2, it actually helps your brain be better focused. And I have personally experienced this. With the more coding that I'm now teaching in my schedule, which makes me way happy, I find I'm just more, I have a better ability to focus on detail than I've had before. So there's a real benefit to understanding your world and to actually building your brain. Again, you only have to watch the first 5 minutes of this one because he does get into something called Scratch, which is a way we're teaching younger and younger people how to code. And in the past I've used that, but now I've taken my coding, my course content up to a level with Codecademy. All right, so then what you'll do here, and this is where we begin your reflection writing. I want you to watch this, and this is about a 6-minute video. It's a really great, to my opinion, gives words to what I think most of you probably already have, which is called grit, which is the power of passion and perseverance. And if you don't feel like you have grit, that's something you can reflect on. If you do feel like you have grit, that's something you could reflect on. But however you want to reflect, I want you to watch this video and reflect on it. Think about it, right? And you'll do the same. And by the way, so again, not very long. You have to do a little writing. I want you to reflect upon that. And then this last one's really short. And if you haven't watched any of the Adam Ruins Everything, he's awesome. But this little short video really talks about why it is still very important to get a college education, which you're all here attempting to do. So that's awesome. I'm just trying to give you, you know, a little more reflection about why that's important. And he talks about some of the tech giants that we all in my industry look up to, but it really does remind us why it's still very important to get college education. Okay, that's what you have to do for this week. So again, we're moving out of the how to do this class and the more of the curated content that I will find, and you will see something similar probably for next week. So that's it for me. Enjoy the rest of your time, and I'll chat with you later.